Why, hello everybody, welcome. My name is Rubydung. Welcome to today's episode. As you can see, I'm over here at the main base. That is because a new update has just came out. If I spin my way around here and hit F3, you can see 1.6.1 is now out. So, I want to run you guys through a little bit of the changes that have happened here. There's some very interesting ones that have happened. I do want to point out a handful right off the bat, one of which that I find really funny, in the very least. I find it quite humorous, is if I create a 3x3 thing of coal, I get a block of coal. And I can put this down, boop, like this. Has a nice little texture to it, but the reason why I find this so humorous, you may ask, like, what's so funny about a block of coal? Well, some of you more studious ones might remember that it was only a handful of months ago that Mojang put out an update for April Fools, including a block of coal. And now we have it in the game, so that's an actual thing we have now. So, yeah, that's cool. I believe technically this cooks a lot of items, like functionally it cooks as much as 9 things of coal, maybe more. I can't remember the exact off the top of my head, but it cooks a lot, so it could be useful for that, but I don't see too much of a reason for me to be using it in that manner, I guess. But yeah, that's the thing they did. But speaking, since I have the resource box open, I want to show you something with Lapis Lazuli. Come over here and I can begin placing this down. You can see the texture on it is different. There is now these smooth little edges here, which I actually really like because that now gives it a very big distinction against wool blocks, because previously there were basically just blue wool and then lapis blocks, which were functionally 9 times as expensive but didn't require a thing of wool, but wool was dirt cheap, so there was no real reason to use these. I use these every once in a while, but there wasn't really a reason to use them, but now you can. They're have a decorative purpose to them now, beyond just being a slightly different texture. The texture is now noticeably different. They now have a nice little soft edge on it, and you can see that here on this little icon. But speaking of carpet, there is another new item in the game, is carpet. So using wool, we can now get carpet. So this stuff is interesting for a handful of reasons. Number one, just like wool, we can have all of the different basic wool color type variants. So, like, basically every color in the game can be represented here. So, like, if I want to do that, I can do this. Just kind of place this down like a big strip of wool. So in the event I did want to, like, decorate this floor in here, I wouldn't have to rip out my entire floor and put in carpet. We'll put in wool. I now can just put carpet over this. I'm probably not going to do that, but that's now an option that I can do. But wool has wool. I keep using these interchangeably. I'm messing this up constantly now. Carpet has a few interesting things about it that I do want to show off that I didn't really expect, so it's kind of odd. In which case, I want to grab a trap door here very quick because I want to do some experimenting. But to my knowledge, also let me grab a thing of wood. Boop. Nope, okay, it was 2 things of wood. I just put 1 thing of wood. I'm messing this up. Okay. To my knowledge, so if I put a trapdoor here, and then I can put a wool over that, and I can walk across that normally. So, perfectly fine. Nothing to really be suspect about this. I can flip this trapdoor down now, and I have a floating carpet, but I can still walk across it normally. Which I found interesting. I was expecting it to be a lot more like paintings, but it wasn't. So I was expecting to phase through it, and that's not how that works. But because of how it works, we can actually have a few interesting things that happen. In particular, I can now, if I want to run all the way over here to the opposite end of my base than I actually ran, there is a very interesting thing that I actually can do that does actually tempt me to replace my flooring here. I'm not going to do it, but it does tempt me very heavily to the point that I actually say that I'm not going to do it, but I still might do it just because it would be really nice, but it will cost too many resources. But once I get all the way up here, oh, nope, I'm floating down. Okay. But once I get all the way up here, I have a nice glass flooring here, and it's really nice because mobs don't spawn up here. However, glass flooring doesn't work for everywhere. For example, like if I had an actual floor underneath here, the glass wouldn't work. But now, I can put carpet over this. Now you might be wondering, why on earth would I want to put carpet over glass? I probably put the glass here for a reason. Well, glass has a very special property where mobs can't spawn on it. Meaning that if I put carpet over it, mobs will be unable to spawn on my solid, opaque ground. So, in the event I want to have a ground that mobs just can't spawn on, I can put down a block that mobs are not capable of spawning on. There's multitudes of blocks I can choose from. Glass was just one I could show off easiest. But there's several different blocks that I could do that with. And be able to basically create a nice opaque ground that mobs can't spawn on. Because there isn't a lot of actual opaque blocks that mobs can't spawn on. In which case, it's really just the bottom half of slabs. And probably a handful of others, but there's not that many, so there's not a whole bunch of ways to get mobs to not spawn something, but now we have a thing. But I believe when set on an opaque block, I am unsure if that stops us spawning. I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to spawn here. But in the event I wanted to make my base here completely mob-proof, I could rip out all of my flooring here, put back in a half block instead of these full blocks, and put a carpet over it, and then my base would be nice and mob-proof, but the underside of it will be completely unchanged. Another texture change that hits a little bit closer to me is going to be over in this chest. Not this chest, not this chest. Was it not this chest? Oh, that's right, I used it all up. But if I grab a piece of log here, let's actually grab 8 pieces of log since I'm going to bother going through the process of doing this. And also run over here and grab 2 pieces of coal. Boom, and of course, oh man, these stacks are not working out nicely. If I run over here and throw in my wooden logs here, you will see that there is now a new texture for, you can probably already guess it, charcoal. It is very close to me. Charcoal has been, in this series, one of my, like, big things in the series. Charcoal's been probably one of the biggest. I've had a whole episode dedicated to this little stuff. And it got a new texture, which is interesting. I'm actually kind of happy for it. Now that it looks different than coal. It can be set alone. It doesn't have to be sidelined next to the coal anymore. It has a different texture, which is so nice. But another thing that happens now with clay blocks, I can throw these in along with a piece of charcoal as this is cooking up. It's already halfway through. And as this cooks up, you will see that there is another new block this time. The Hardened Clay. It looks like this. It's very smooth. Very smooth and nice looking. So this is basically going to be another deposit of things I can do with clay. Because this actually works pretty good with the wood texture I already have going. So I can see actually implementing this into my base. The only problem being I already have a massive clay sink in this world with bricks. So I can already see not having a good time implementing hardened clay into this world. But I could. It's very much a thing I could do. But if I can get enough of this stuff, I'm almost done. Let me actually go put away my charcoal. That's not it for the hardened clay. The hardened clay actually has its own recipe again. There is a recipe within a recipe here that was added. So, new with the hardened clay, almost done here. I want to run over here And let's grab a thing of bone meal and grab the last piece here and run all the way down this direction. There we go. Things of ink sacs. I can go over here, spread out my hardened clay like this, and put in the bone meal. And you can see I get white stained clay and black stained clay. Now this works for every color. Let's try to find another color. I believe some roses over here. Oh, we have way too many. Way too many roses. Let's just pull one out of the farm, actually. That chest is full. Oh, golly. Let's just do that. If I can break this down and put this in, I can get red stained clay. This isn't actually too much of a texture change. At least I don't think it is. But it's a thing. So in the event I do want to do that, let's turn this whole thing into white. Then we will get a texture like this. In which case, you can tell it's a lot smoother than wool. And I really like that, actually. And we get that for each of the colors. So if I want a nice smooth blue flooring, like for example, if I want to put a nice smooth blue floor over at my water base, not my nether water base, my water base. Oh god, I need to rename things. I just now realized that. Oh god. But, I can now use this, blue instead of this. This is a little bit more like flesh colored, like my arm's kind of like the same color as this stuff, so it's a bit odd, but I'm sure this is actually really usable somewhere. Like, I actually can see this being paired with a handful of different things, so kind of excited for this in general, but I can do this with other clothes. I don't believe I can re-dye it after I've already dyed it once. Yeah, no, I can't do that, so I'm kind of stuck with this now, but I'm sure I'll use it. I'm sure I'll use white at some point in my life. But yeah, another thing that was added is actually really nice. Really, really nice. But it was such a small thing, but it's still really nice. I'm going to need one slime ball and a few pieces of string. And it is crafted like this, is leads. Now, you might be wondering, what are leads? Well, this is now a way of being able to force a mob to follow you. Sometimes the AI refuses to follow you, and some mobs just can't. So, now with this, I can hard force being like, okay, cows, okay, they all escaped again. You're coming with me. See, he's now being forcibly moved, and if I'm like, nope, you're coming back, and I can just drag him around, and he just goes wherever I want, and I can have two of these guys. I can have as many as I want. It still isn't that great. Like, they still get stuck on half the things in this game, but it works. It's a thing that has functionality, which I prefer. But now I can go like, aha. Open, that lead's gone forever. And he's also wanting to go on a little adventure. But now I can go like, aha, and that... that also can do that. That's something I do have to be aware of. Oh, but I got the lead back. That's the important part. I actually think that's the one he dropped. So I didn't really get that back. But yeah... Another one that's a little bit of a smaller one, but nonetheless is actually quite useful, is going to be involving... Oh, nope, wrong chest. Wheat! I just want 9 pieces. Go over to a crafting table, spread this out like as a block, and we now get the hay bale. So now we have hay bales. So, for all of those people wanting to decorate farms, we now have an actual thing that is for that, so that's cool. No longer have to put in, like, melons and pumpkins, and that's it. We now have a third block you could use for harvests. Another more technical change is with Cauldrons and Comparators. So, if I were to throw a bucket of water into this cauldron, you can see it now emits a redstone signal through a comparator and has a nice little signal of 3. But if I were to go over here and boop, bottle that up, you can see it goes down to 2, and I can go all the way down to 1. And if I were to remove this last one here, then it would have a comparator strength of 0. Once again, because it would be empty. Now, this actually has quite a bit of application, because if I were to do this, you can see no signal, 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 no, signal. Meaning that we actually have a way of being able to control the outputs of comparators with pistons. And just to give you an even better example, we have, let's go with this, and let us fill this with water. Now, put this down, and I wish that I had a regular piston, but imagine if I pull this and pull this, we have a strength of 3. And then if I flip a switch, these two flop places, we have a strength of 1. Now imagine a whole system of these where we have different leveled ones where we can make a functional combination of these little things being able to basically determine whether it is a 1, 2, or 3 output. And we can also have long chains of these, in which case we need to be in a certain order. So this is probably a very good way of being able to make a combination lock now. Being able to just push around these cauldrons and hook them up through comparators. Alright, not gonna lie, I have been sailing here in order to show other features that were added, most particularly the horse. I found donkeys not too far away, but decided, I want to film some horses. So I went sailing, and I have now been sailing for 5 hours. I have now given up on ever finding horses, and I am now heading home. I'm so done with trying to find horses. 5 hours was not worth it. Maybe I'll run into an island on my way home, but I doubt it. I ran into one, but it was just a jungle. The whole island was a jungle, and the horses don't spawn there, so... yep, just heading home. In case you're curious, this is my coordinates. I've been making massive circles. Got over negative 20,000 before I said, I probably should at least update you guys on how far I made it. So, yeah, they added horses in the update. I'll show you other things they added. They added horses, mules, donkeys. Like, they added a whole bunch of cool things. I can't show it. They also added name tags. Right here. But, probably can't show that to you guys because, kind of in the middle of water and I need to find new terrain in order to find a dungeon. And the dungeon accessible through land, because finding one through water would be a nightmare. So yeah, it just isn't working. Maybe I'll run into an island on the way, but I highly doubt it. But that's probably going to be doing it for today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. I'm just going to be slowly sailing my way back home. Actually, I might have an idea for that. But either way, guys, that's probably going to be doing it for today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. I'll be seeing you guys here in the next one. I hope you enjoy the new update. Bye. See ya. So long. Bye.